Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shibani Gharat. Tata Starbucks is eyeing expansion and growth in India. The coffee chain currently has over 460 stores in the country and has doubled its store count over the past 2-3 years, launching new stores in different markets as well as newer formats. And at the helm of this expansion and growth is Sushant, Tata Starbucks CEO. Dash, who had spent significant initial years at Tata Tea, later stepped up to actually set up Starbucks in the country. It was in 2012 when Starbucks entered the Indian market by entering into a 50-50 deal with Tata Group. During the coffee chain's initial days in India, Dash played a crucial role in shaping the brand's journey in the country. In 2021, Dash was appointed as the CEO of Tata Starbucks after he moved from Tata Consumer Products into this new role. And after this, there is no looking back for the brand. The coffee chain can be spotted in every nook and corner of all the large cities, and as well the brand is also slowly making its entry and presence felt into the smaller towns. We are catching up with Dash over a cup of coffee, and he is sharing more details on the growth of the brand in the country and how is India drinking coffee today. So Sushant, tell us more. What are some of the key strategies that you are applying for this growth that we are seeing over the past couple of years? 460 stores, 64 markets across the country, 64 different cities. Tell us more.
So yes, as you rightly mentioned, the last 2.5, 3 years has been all about expansion. I think the last time that we met, I told you that we now know in some ways what the Indian consumer wants. We know how to make this a profitable business. So it was then about taking it forward and expanding. I think in terms of the strategy, in terms of 3-4 big pillars, I think one is store format. In terms of different type of stores, be it drive-thrus, be it high street. We have just opened our first store in a metro, which is to enhance the daily commute. We opened our first green store in actually the hills. It is at 8,000 feet. And it's the first green store that we have. So different formats, I think that's one. Two is in terms of sustainability and in terms of, I think the younger generation is all about a cause, and it is about, so as I mentioned to you, the green store, our signing stores, we now have 5 signing stores. We had made a commitment that 40% of our workforce will be women. We have now 30 stores, which are all women's store.
Wonderful.
So that's the other pillar in terms of, the third pillar is just doing the right things in terms of coffee, in terms of the third place experience, and in terms of food innovation. So yeah, those are the broad pillars.
So I'm sitting here at Tata Starbucks store. It's buzzing right now. It's in the afternoon that we are catching up. It's buzzing. People are just entering. What is, the average receipt or ticket size, and how has it changed over the past many years? And what are consumers ordering at Tata Starbucks?
So while I cannot share numbers in terms of the average ticket size, but I think what people order, one is we see in India, and that's something that I keep saying, in India, coffee is still not a habit. You come to a Starbucks also many a times to catch up with friends or for an office meeting, to celebrate an occasion. You don't just come, take your drink and go away, which is why it is also important that we provide the ambience, that experience, that connection.
Experience has to be.
It is not just about the coffee. It is an important part. That is what we are about. But I think the connection in India is very important. And I think that is what we strive to do irrespective of where we go. So that is one reason as to why. So in terms of hence the size of our ticket in general tends to be high because people come in groups. In India, the other good thing is, like all of us know, we just don't have a beverage. We like to have food
with beverage.
Even at home, when we have our chai, we want a cookie or a biscuit snacks. So food attachment in India is actually one of the highest globally in terms of what we do. So that is one area which, again, if you see, we have innovated a lot, because one of the learnings that we had was food is something that people like local taste profile and nuances. So we have now actually gone to the extent of doing local food by region. Okay, In fact, you should try. We now have a Thecha croissant.
Yes.
Have you checked that out?
It picked my interest the other day when I saw it on the menu.
It is very nice. I love a Thecha. So, but what we have done, for example, if you go to Calcutta, we have what we call the Kachalanka wrap. Similarly, in Rayalaseema, we have the Rayalaseema keema bun. So every region has a different cuisine to celebrate the local nuances, Indian flavors, along with the global international favorites like your blueberry muffins and the cookies and the croissants. So that's the other part of expansion.
Yeah. And how do you go about whenever you are thinking of this food innovation that we just spoke about? How do you go about knowing that okay, this would probably work for this market? What are some of the things? What is the strategy there?
So one of the things that we have realized is, I'm not trying to replicate what the local store or a local restaurant will try to do, because that is not what people expect me to be good at, or I have my own strengths, and what they want in a Starbucks, we have realized, is Indian flavors but Western form. So for example,
so you will not be selling a samosa, let's say, for example,
or a vada pav. I might do a slightly different twist. So I have a potato puff in a turnover form. Okay, so I might do that, which has the taste maybe of a samosa, but it looks very different. And because A, I cannot compete with a guy who's doing the samosa, and that's the truth. And two, people won't come to a Starbucks to have a samosa. They have the local joints where they will go for a samosa or a vada pav or a misal, right? So that's the idea. In terms of what works, I think we have a large category team, a lot of consumer work. We're continuously doing that. So to give you a number, last year we introduced 62 new items. So you keep refreshing. In food, one of the things is you cannot have the same food. You will need to keep introducing, and you need to keep taking out stuff. So, and we will do regional variations. We will have favorites. So for example, this freshly assembled sandwiches that we have just launched it 2 weeks back. You will see a new set of sandwiches coming in maybe in 2 weeks time again. Then you will have Diwali. We will do a lot which is for Diwali, specific to
so food
India.
is closer to the local flavors of that particular region. But what about beverages? Beverages more or less stay consistent around the country is what I have seen, at least whenever I have traveled to different Starbucks. How do you know that, whenever you're coming up with a new beverage innovation, it might just be accepted by the consumer of the country? What is your test market to understand that?
So we do quite a bit of that again. But as you rightly said, when it comes to beverage, most of the beverage innovation follows what we would do globally. So one is obviously the hardcore items, right? Be it your cortados, your cappuccinos, your flat whites, with different milk alternatives and stuff like that.
Correct.
Then you have what we call the limited time offering. So for right now, we have the mocha cookie crumble, which is actually a returning favorite. It's a huge favorite in terms of consumers. We do usually these for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and we keep changing it. One of the ways we realized, and actually the best barometer as to what works, doesn't work, are our partners. If our partners like something, they sell. That's my first learning. Because they will then take
give
that extra, give the feedback. We have panels where we check flavors. There are certain things that Indians like more, let's say, than some of the other. For example, chocolate. Chocolate is an all-time favorite amongst youngsters. So a lot of drinks which are chocolate-based, we know will be a big success. But maybe a caramel won't be as much. Okay. What we have now realized is, for example, the cold brews, the refreshers. And we were pleasantly surprised. We actually tested that. We were not 100% sure whether in India the cold brew will work or the refreshers will work. A, they are non-dairy and they are coffee forward. Surprisingly, it worked and worked very well. They actually became nearly 14-15% of our beverage mix during summer. And we realized a lot of youngsters actually going in for them.
For cold brew.
As also the refreshers. Because they are colorful, they are lighter, they are food-based. So yeah.
Sushant, over the past 2-3 years, not just Starbucks has expanded its footprint in India, but also a lot of newer players have entered the market. Pret, third wave coffee, so to speak. Even Costa and all, I have seen open new outlets and new stores in different places. How do you look at this competition?
I think it's good. It helps to expand the category. Uh, no, that's the truth. I think, we for us, and I think it's true for every one of us. It is not about gaining brand share. It is for all of us creating the category. Coffee penetration is still 25, 26%. In terms of retail coffee, is 1/10 the size of tea. So the head space that you have in terms of the category is so high. I don't think we need to worry about competing against each other.
Yeah.
We will actually help each other because we will create the category. You can see for yourself in terms of, the category excitement. People are talking about it. There are no more places for people to go and try. Whenever there is a new brand, there's a new place, consumers will go. And that, to me, helps in expanding the category.
Yeah, yeah. Sushant, 3 years ago, like the number of cities that you were present in as Tata Starbucks was in teens, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And now you are in 64 different markets. Which ones have been the toughest to crack for Tata Starbucks, according to you?
I actually don't think we have had an issue in any market. Actually, to our pleasant surprise, most of the newer markets and the so-called smaller markets do actually quite well.
Yeah.
And I have always said that even when I worked in FMCG, that people in India are aspirational, and even in the small town, they are willing to spend money. In fact, in many of the small towns, they have lesser options.
Yeah.
So if you give them the opportunity and if you get your back end in place and you can make money, smaller cities in India are the places to be.
But still, there is a lower coffee penetration in the India market as compared to some of the other markets,
That's true.
So, what according to you will drive that penetration?
So that is actually one of our tasks. I think as we grow and as we expand faster, beyond a point, it is about demand creation. We need to ensure that it becomes a habit. It cannot remain an occasion. It cannot be an indulgence. It needs to become a regular habit.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, then obviously you cannot expand and grow to 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 stores.
Yeah.
Like China has, say for example. But we have seen that happen across markets, right? And China is a good example. China is a tea drinking. Yeah, it's exactly like us, tea producing, tea drinking. And in China, in 2010, 2011, Starbucks had around 150, 200 stores. Today, they have 8,000 stores. And there is N number of competition who has another 15 to 20,000 stores. So that is in 14 years, that is the way the category has grown. And I think the same will happen in India. It has got to do with the per capita income reaching a certain point, and that happened in multiple countries. And if I just look at the per capita consumption, even within Asia, China per capita consumption per 100 is around 12 cups. We are at 2 cups. So, the headroom is huge. We will grow.
And also, I have seen with Tata Starbucks in India, loyalty is something that is very well rewarded in terms of the app and the loyalty card that you have. So how has that helped, getting back the existing customer more frequently to your store?
So I think the loyalty program, like with any other loyalty program, is something that really works. And in India, for us, it has been a big boon. In fact, last month, because we just introduced a new feature where we now give stars for everyone. You don't need to load your app. You can pay through UPI and you can still earn your stars in terms of, so you don't need to put money in advance.
Yes.
And there was a 53% jump in terms of new members who came into the fold.
Wow.
So that is the kind of, so I think it is the brand strength. I think people have done a great job in terms of creating the brand. But the loyalty, and I think the loyalty is not just about, some of the freebies or discount. I think it is also a batch value. and people like to say that they're a gold member, they are a regular, and there are smaller things that we do in terms of the master classes. You might have seen we do the master class for many of the gold members, where we tell them about coffee and uh, how to brew coffee and stuff like that. So I think things like that also make a big difference in terms of
Yeah,
feel
and
good.
you intend to open 1,000 stores by 2028. Now you are at 460. Do you think you will achieve it like sooner than 2028? And what is the roadmap for it? What are the key investments that you're doing, and which are the markets that you're eyeing?
So Lakshman has made a commitment. He has
Yeah.
gone on media and said that we will do 1,000 stores by 2028. I think we are on course. Like we were discussing, the number of stores that we're opening and the number of stores that we have opened in the last couple of years, I think gives us the confidence that we can do it. We will continue to expand into newer markets, but we will also continue to infill the current markets. I think it will be a function of both. In fact, if you ask me, I would say that 70% will come from infills. There are a lot of areas, let's say even in Mumbai. We are nearing our 100 stores in Mumbai.
100 stores.
Yes, we should have our 100 stores sometime this year.
Wow.
Yeah, in Mumbai. But I still think the potential is huge in terms of the total number of stores and the capacity. Like you can see, we have, I think, 6 stores in this area in Bandra, Santa Cruz. And all of them, most of the times, there is no place during peak hours. So I think there is more potential for infill of our current markets, and that would account for 70% of our growth, and 30% will come from new markets.
Okay, what are some of the key trends that will shape, or what are the key insights that you have that will shape your strategy going forward?
I think it's about the experience. To me, that is going to be the most important thing. The connection, and mainly as we expand, to still have that warmth, that connection that you have, and to find the right resources, the right training, and consistently do that.
Yeah.
I think is the challenge, and if we do that right, I think we have managed to do it well as of now.
Yeah.
If we continue to do that, that is our big differentiator. 2 is our coffee. I think the fact that we use the world's top 3% Arabica, sustainably sourced, I think, and international in terms of the different kinds of coffee, while at the same time showcasing Indian coffee, I think is what differentiates us. So that I think. Third is the food.
Yeah.
In terms of getting that balance between local and international, I think is where. So if we do these 3 things and do it consistently and do it well, I think we are.
And apart from that, what are the key trends that are shaping your business in general?
So I think a couple of them, like I was mentioning, I think cold beverages,
Yeah.
the youngsters very clearly,
Yeah.
fruit based, again is a trend that we see not just in India but globally. And these days, global trends come to India much faster,
Yeah.
mainly amongst the youngsters. In terms of food, there is also, and also I think in coffee, there is 2 segments that are clearly emerging. You know, while coffee penetration, as I mentioned to you earlier, is 25-26% and category growth is going to happen, but there is also this connoisseur, the guys who have been exposed to premium coffee, to
Yeah.
specialty coffee,
Yeah.
and different brew methods.
Yeah.
And so they want to experiment, they want
Yeah.
different coffees, they want different brew methods, they
That's
want
right.
to. So there is that niche. Then there is people who are getting into the category, and we'll need to cater to them and the Indian taste, because they're used to boiled taste of tea and
Yeah.
kadak chai. So
And with milk.
with milk,
Yeah.
right? But that's we Indians. It is dessert. We boil our tea, and that's what we all love. So we will need to think through in terms of how we get that going. So I think those are the 2 ends of
Yeah.
the spectrum that we'll need to crack in
Yeah.
terms of trends.
Great.
And then I think the last part would be sustainability. I think mainly the Gen Z is clear. While it might not be the final point in terms of decision making, but all things being equal, if you provide for that, you have an upper hand.
Sushant, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for sharing these insights with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me again.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we find out what is X Index and what are the top 10 brands in India according to X Index. Welcome back. Indian customers have undergone an evolution in the preferences that help differentiate brands for them. While brands that persist in operating under the previous paradigm have been caught off guard, some have already begun to capitalize on this recent consumer behavior shift, reveals the latest X Index India report by Havas CX India, the specialized customer experience vertical of Havas India. The 2024 X Index, in fact, surveyed 55,000 consumers in 9 global markets, including United States, UK, France, Mexico, India, Portugal, Spain, Brazil, as well as Argentina, to evaluate customer experience performance of 525 different brands. This year, the X Index used 23 metrics across 4 key functional, emotional, personal as well as collective areas to determine what criteria can create a compelling customer experience. It examined customer experience with clicks and bricks brands, including retailers that maintain brick-and-mortar stores in addition to selling online, and pure players, internet-only retailers. The X Index also included a scorecard where customers evaluated how well brands meet different experience touchpoints throughout the customer journey, from social media to after-sales service. The top 10 brands in X Index 2024 India report are as follows. First up, Tata Motors, followed by Apple, Tata Click Luxury, Kia, Samsung, ITC, Nexa, Zara, JBL, and Tata Click Palette. Well, with that is a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.